guys, hello, me to everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. I am sorry I didn't get to you right away. Well, we got some dude man problems on Discord right now, and I'm trying to straighten out those issues that he is self-inflicted on himself. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Let me get to the steam and get this thing hot and ready to go, because need I say I'm not very happy with him for his actions. Come on. There we go. Snow Queen Radio and Snow Queen Radio chat. Okay, so starting that up now. So anyway, Dudeman complains to Discord and says that that one person on my channel is doing hate speech. The problem is the videos that he selected was specifically not about the person that was doing hate speech, but rather it was blaming me for his misfortune. Well, frankly, I think that kind of sucks, putting it bluntly. So, you want to talk about horror show? There you go. That's your horror show. You're doing phone calls tonight? I don't know. Maybe later on. But anyway, we got stuff to talk about, which is a little more exciting. So let's get some of the more exciting stuff going. So he's, Dude Man is sending me messages, and I did clarify to them that if I don't add back me, I won't be able to come on again. So you see, now let me get to this. I can unblock the guy, right? But the problem is that I might as well unblock him. What? Just do it. It won't kill you any. I have to go to my channel server settings to do that. Just do it. Let's see. North American Snow Queen. Server settings. Height news, change nicknames. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. Critical Unity, I won't block you. But I just don't know. Alright. So. Okay. So. I think I have to rejoin them. You think? I think. I don't know how this works. So I have to figure out. Let's take a look at this. So I re-invited him, so he's sent. Let me explain one thing to my audience, because this is important. I run a channel, and I run a very honest channel. And I try my best to run a channel of high quality. But unfortunately, at the same time, I've got these two people kind of fighting. But hi guys, how you doing? I'm just wanting to get everybody kind of caught up on the page. Now, by the way, I could talk about computer stuff, but I'm going to talk about something a little more interesting today, because the computer looks like it's going to be almost all here by Friday. So here's the good juicy bits. I went with Patty to a flea market or a thrift store that's going out of business on the 20th, and they had a few things laying around, and they were supposed to be 50% off clearance. Well, what did I find? Well, I found a very nice little, relatively small Dell 19-inch LCD LED monitor for $3. Now, this is only a 19-inch. This is not a 23-inch. Now, what's interesting about that is the resolution of it is 1360 by 768. So it's not quite 1920 by 1080. But the cool thing is, I tested it out on my Power Mac G5. Very sharp screen, very good picture. And it replaces the Sync Master, which I have over here. Let me show you the Sync Master real quick. This is the monitor it replaced. And the reason it replaced it... Oh! This is heavy as hell. Is the bass and the contrast are too... It's too weird of contrast and brightness to really work out well for doing video production. And the Dell monitor, even the one from the thrift store, I got this one for free. This monitor has... might actually make a good monitor for this computer. It has a VESA mounting bracket in the back. It's also very heavy. And it is made, let's see, does it say when this thing was made? Manufactured in January of 2003. So yeah, this is old school, but it's I do think this is I think this is LED too, but I'm not really sure. This is actually about the same age as my Power Mac G5 monitor. Not my Power Mac G5, the age of my... Yeah, it's about the age of my iMac. But it's a bit... so I only have 3 LED monitors. And like Bluesman or... who Dude Man would say is, I got an extra monitor now for a Raspberry Pi, which I do have. I have a Raspberry Pi, but I gotta get an SD card for it. So, and okay, so now. Yeah, well, the new monitor is 1920 by 1080 resolution, so, and it's 22 inches in size. It's clear, though. It is still, I mean, it's good for some things. I know what kind of bitch, but that monitor right there, the Sync Master, is only 1028 by 768, so... 1028 by 1024 by 1068. So it's not a bad little monitor. And so when the new monitor comes, which will be here on Friday, I'm going to try that one on that Mac in that room too first, because of one reason is that, do you know how heavy the Mac Pro is? I'm serious. They weighed the package at FedEx 56 U.S. pounds. 56 U.S. pounds for a Mac Pro. Now, I have no idea if they shipped it in a wooden crate, as far as I know. Because they said they weren't sure if they were going to be able to find a box to ship it in. So, maybe they made a crate instead. I don't know. But 56 pounds is pretty heavy for a computer. Now, my Power Mac G5 weighs about 40 pounds. So, I mean, but they look almost the same. But just that the Power Mac G5 is still my main workhorse machine. So, I never saw a reason to complain. I had a monitor one time. Somebody gave me two little LCD monitors that were cold cathode fluorescent light sources in them, and these only had 1024 by 768. That's it. They were just two little tiny monitors. I forgot who made them. I gave them away to somebody else that needed a monitor for the computer. I said, "Here, take both of these. I'll throw them in as a set. I got them for free. If you can use them." And he obviously was very thankful because he didn't have a monitor for his computer. Because he didn't even have a CRT monitor for his computer. He just happened to get a computer. He had no monitor for it. They were unusual in the sense that they were pure white. They were pure white cases on them. And even back then, my Power Mac G5 already was using a black keyboard. So the stupid things are basically stuck out like a sore thumb. And the resolutions were just terrible. The contrast sucked. And frankly, it was good enough to get some things done. So I didn't need them, so I gave them to somebody else. Because I had at the time I had a couple CRT Sony Trinitons sitting in the storage bin in the back, which could go up to 1920 by 1080, especially the biggest one, which was the 16S or something? God, I miss you, screen. You were huge. It weighed a ton. Talk Halloween stuff. Okay. Did you see the story I posted on my Discord a couple of days ago where the woman basically went to a Halloween party and she got these artificial fangs, and using the supplied adhesive that came with the kit, she glued the fangs to her real teeth. And, well, they stayed there, and she couldn't get the fake teeth off. That doesn't sound like fun. Stuck your teeth through my teeth. My teeth are on you. Okay. Now, seriously, I don't really have much Halloween stories, but I can tell you right now, one of the things in my area, as me and Patty were talking about, is there's no kids that go out trick-or-treating for the most part. Most of them have grown up or moved away, and it's just a couple stragglers, maybe. What do you mean it was a ghost? What are you talking about? Oh, you mean the woman that whose fake teeth get permanently bonded to her real teeth? I don't know if that's a ghost. I call that an unpleasant surprise. And she wasn't using any special adhesive. She was just using one that came with a $3. Oh, okay. I think we can come up with some. Yeah, we can come up with something. Let's start by trying to get the theme. Yeah, you want to see the computer really seriously get into a heart attack? Well, for those of you who don't know what Halloween is actually about, Halloween is actually a harvest festival. And the whole point of the harvest festival is also the veils between our side and the other side are very thin. So, in Celtic lore, for example, people would sometimes put out little treats and little trinkets for the loved ones who passed, such as the saucer of milk and things like that. The idea was to make the spirits happy. Because if they didn't feel you were giving them a treat, they would trick you. They would give you nasty tricks, such as making your life miserable for not giving them little treats. So, that's where the whole concept of the trick or treat comes from. Was just that. You give me a trick, or I don't give you a treat. I make your life unpleasant living hell. No, the ghost uses powers that binded her teeth for years of abuse. I have no idea of that, but it wouldn't be a ghost anyway. Ghosts don't do that kind of stuff. But she went to a regular dentist, and they had to basically very carefully chisel the fake teeth off her real teeth. Okay, well, I could tolerate that. I think that might be possible. Maybe she did something wrong, I don't know. But the point is, somebody had to deal with karma. My karma ran over your dogma. Okay. Well, the thing is that the whole thing is during this time of year, what I like to do normally is to take time to talk about the loved ones and the friends and the family that I knew that had passed away, and the special impact that they had on our lives. Because this is the time we should give thanks and praise to the ones that we know. I mean, let's be honest. We all have loved ones and enemies. And you got enemies too, right? Do you ever wonder what those enemies are doing right now? Where are they? Are they on the other side? Are they in hell? Are they in purgatorium? Well, I can't tell you about your enemies. I can just tell you that the few enemies I've had in life, well, if they are alive, they're probably miserable. If they passed away because of their stupidity, I'm sure that they're probably roaming around in another world, thinking ways to resolve the issues with the axe that they have to grind for their stupidity in life. Then, of course, I bet those people who are watching my YouTube channel are probably popping dislike right now, just because they can. You see, popping a dislike button doesn't take much of a spiritual energy. Just beep. It's just a little bit of energy and dislikes. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah. Well, my friends and family, the ones that loved me who died, are probably trying to consider ways to pop the like button. Like, boom, like, boom, like, boom. But it takes a lot of energy, though, to do it. One of the spirits that I miss a lot is my dad. And I'm going to talk about my dad for a second, because this guy was really special to me as a child. One of the reasons my dad was so special was not only did he work his way out of alcoholism and has been sober pretty much since 1976 up until his death, but my dad was smart. My dad was a very talented person. Good with numbers. Good with figures. He knew how to balance a checkbook with a piece of paper, pencil. He could calculate sales tax in his head. No problem. My father was a floor layer, a cabinet maker, construction worker in general construction and finished carpentry. My dad taught me a lot of the stuff that I use today. Even though his trade was more of in wood and sheetrocking and cabinetry, I learned those skills. Oh yes, floor laying. And I miss the old man because he was such a nice guy to talk to. We would sit there and we talk while he's watching Fox News, and we, see what things are going on in the last few years of his life. I used to like to watch the O'Reilly Factor on Fox News. Whereas I think he's still out there watching me. I don't know what he thinks of my YouTube channel. But I think he's probably saying to himself is, hey, she's doing something. Sadly enough, she's not doing the kind of things that I would have hoped she would do with her expertise. It seems like she kind of threw away everything that she knew to get into something that was completely different. Wonder why? Well, it's not entirely true. I didn't give up doing the things I loved. I still do the things I love every day. I still work in computers when the opportunity presents itself. I still do electrical wiring for fun or for general repair. I still like to give advice to people, like my father did. Yes, my father was a smart guy. He knew me as both. Prior to having an NDE, he wasn't sure if I was a male or female, but then after the NDE, he came across a completely different outlook and treated me as a woman. So I think that was a very powerful thing because he said to me, he says, after my experience in the operating theater, I now know that you're telling me the truth. So, of course, my mother didn't like hearing that at the time. My father never met Lumi. No, Michele was right. He never met Lumi, which is me. Even though me and Michele had been together when she was a child, I was her spirit guide. She was always the other one she was talking to me almost every friggin' day, and yet no one ever knew who she was talking to. No. And at the time, you're asking about 4 or 5 years old to explain something like Lumi as a spirit guide. I don't think a typical 4 or 5 year old could even give you a quick, simple answer exactly who she was. My father, as I said, an Irish gentleman, made a lot of mistakes too in his life. Ones that I forgave him for because as I understood as I got older, I understood some of the things that he did in life really weren't so much entirely his own fault. Number one, his floor laying business, Northland Flooring, failed. Now, Northland Flooring was in competition with his brother's business, Dalene Flooring. They kind of went their own separate ways for a while. How you doing, Jalen? So, my father, unfortunately, my mother ran my dad over the coals because of that reason. Because now she couldn't enjoy the things that she would have enjoyed being able to live in the Dalene Hollow over there in New Hartford or in East Hartlew and all the other members of the family that could speak her native language of Norwegian. Because my father, unfortunately, couldn't find work because he was just about ready to file for bankruptcy. My dad struggled to pay off all those debts, and I'll tell you, he busted his ass to get ahead. And I don't have any complaints about my dad. My dad taught me a lot of things, including a lot of common sense things I'm beginning to understand now as an adult about his age when he ended up basically having a closed shop. Number one, creditors do not give a shit if you were incapable of paying up for your kids' needs or making sure that you have food on the table. They want to get paid now, and they don't care to wait. At that time in the 1970s, if you fell behind in your debts, there was no kind of credit counseling services like we have today. My mother at that time, it's like now, is a hardcore, iron-rotted Norwegian. Tough as nails. Not somebody you want to go ahead and run into and piss off. Like Eric the Red, she could basically seriously skiver you right in half, and her personality was that of a mercurial woman that had a problem, especially when she got angry. My mother is still a very serious person and does not have much of a sense of humor whatsoever. But at least my mother and I were able to begin the process of making reparations. But my mother is not a no-nonsense person, and I just can't see how my father, who was a genteel spirit, could marry someone like that. I just don't see how that worked. But you know what? They stayed married together all those years, up until about 2003. From 1965 to 2003. There has to have been something in that magic marriage that made it last. After all, my mother basically ran my dad out of town on the rail a lot of times, and she could be real hard on him. And yet, he didn't always know how to handle it. So, just like critical unity, well, he drank, he got drunk, he did stupid stuff. But one of the smartest things he never got credit for was he enjoyed music. And one of the things was he could sing like a baritone, and he enjoyed doing it for fun. What did you dress up for as a kid at Halloween? Honestly, I don't really remember. We didn't really get too dressed up. I think in apartment complex it was more of the most memorable Halloween costume I ever had was about 5 years old when my mom dressed me up as a girl. I'm not kidding you. My mom dressed me up as a girl on Halloween at 5 years old. It's like, wow. I didn't realize that my mom even then was calling me Michele. That's right, my own mother was calling me Michele. And she actually kept calling me Michele even until through high school. I would be more of a princess. I think I was more of I don't know. That's a great question. I don't really remember too much of my childhood, too much with the Halloweens, but I do remember getting a lot of candy. And then my mom and my dad would go through and sift through it to make sure there was no tampering with the candies. Hubby Dalene out on the wire. Now, so let's just take a see what Bluesman or Dude Man is up to. I don't see any messages from Dude Man. But I can suspect that he's maybe will eventually reapply to the channel. I did unban him, but I told him straight out. I said, dude, you gotta get into sobriety. Period. No, I don't think so. No, but Michele had a horrible ability to remember holidays. I remember the July 4th more than I do Halloween. Oh, yeah. Is it possible? No, Michele was Michele. I was just a spirit guide at the time. Kind of serving like a guardian angel type of thing. I didn't actually get physically involved in Michele's body until she was about 2010. We started physically working together. So Michele would often defer questions to me about how we solve problems. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't remember everything about Halloween, but there was just that one time that my mother dressed me up as a little girl for Halloween. I just thought that was kind of funny. I keep remembering that story. I can remember she putting the wig on my head and everything. And I'm like, it's one of the most memorable Halloween things. I don't remember too much of the other ones. I don't remember going out much else. Well, you got to get sober first, and then you can start therapy. You can't start therapy while you're still drinking like a big giant fish. Oh, that's another horrible story. How in the heaven's name do people get themselves so wrapped up in that stuff? I'll leave that for non-Halloween. This is Halloween. I'm trying to come up with some things about. Let's try to think of the good things. Since it is technically considered a Wiccan festival, it's a harvest festival. It's when we actually bring in the harvests from the fields. People have already pretty much started canning all the stuff that they had already gathered, like the fresh produce and vegetables and fruits. No, not really. Our memories are different. But we do share information sometimes. We back and forth when we want to. Yeah, like Michele, like Lomi told me about her time in working in the washing dishes in a hotel in Helsinki, Kamppi area. Yeah, that was pretty simple actually. They didn't have automatic dishwashers back then. So she would wash the plates from the inn. She was like like a team of like toilet dishwashers. Yeah, during the dinner they would have like toilet dishwashers on, but during lunch, which is kind of quiet, it would be just one, which would usually be like me. I would rotate shifts. Okay. And I had to also make sure to light the gas and the gas lighting in the kitchen when we start the day. Mostly for the night staff because it was harder for them to get out there on the stool to light the gas jets. And that gas was standard coal gas, which is mostly was carbon monoxide, and so you want to make sure that you didn't leave an open jet open that wasn't lit, or not only will it go kaboom, but there's a good chance that you will never even ever remember being the fact you just did carbon monoxide poisoning, because the raw carbon monoxide would become straight out of the gas jet, the coal gas, and that's the reason why people don't really understand that today's systems are safer than then. And they were sunny and they were dark, and it was just so they had coal gas in Kamppi. They had coal gas in Kamppi, but it was just locally generated from a gas plant that wasn't. It was near the center of town. Okay, let's not get too far in the story with that. We'll talk about that in a technical video sometime. Right. Well, anyway, so the point is, no, we don't necessarily always share stories between each other, but it's something to think about. How much, of course, safer Halloween is now versus when I was. We didn't have Halloween in Kamppi. At least not like now. There wasn't decorations. It was just a few people among the dark arts and that were mostly celebrating Halloween close to what we do today. And the standard Halloween that we all know in this country is more related to the Irish Celtic festivals. Yeah, the Celtic festivals. And the English festivals too, because whereas not everybody celebrated Halloween the same way, or Samhain. My father, by the way, people did not ever ask me about my dad. My dad's name was Hans. He was actually a grocer. He actually had a small little grocery store, a dry goods type store in Compy. Um, and he originally wanted to marry me off to the local butcher's son because he thought it would be a good way to actually make the business bigger. It's funny you should mention that. Patty hardly ever talks to me. Because when Michelle's with Patty, she hardly ever brings me into the discussion. Yeah, and don't really talk about Patty or Lumi much. But the few times that Lumi had tried to talk to Patty, Patty kind of it was like, you gotta be kidding me kind of attitude. And it was like, Lumi said, I don't feel like I'm going to try to explain it myself over and over again. So I'm like, I got it. She said, you said you're better at talking to Patty. Why don't you just take care of Patty? I'm like, okay. But anyway, that's something that I really would love to talk more about Patty, but I can't really. I mean, I don't know. I so much want to talk about Patty, but part of me says I don't know if it's gonna work, and part of me says, oh yes, it's gonna work excellent. I'm like, well, okay. See, Michelle's in love with her. Patty apparently is in love with Michele too. In fact, I can see that. But the thing is, they're both speak on command. What do you mean by speak on command? In other words, when he says speak, he'll bark. I can't do that. Not from here anyway. So Michele basically and Patty really are getting googly eyed at each other. The problem is at the same time that they're afraid that the other is going to do something stupid and basically ruin the whole effect. Michelle's afraid that she's going to make a mistake, or Patty's afraid she's going to make a mistake. So they kind of stare at each other like, what are we supposed to do? It makes it really hard for both of them. Can you come here without Michele needing to bring you? I think it's important that they get along. I think the two kind of get along, but I think right now, as Patty is at first was like with Lumi, she was like a lot of people here. She was like, I'm not sure if I was ready to deal with that kind of thing, and so, but I think that they do. Patty and Lumi have talked to each other before. I still think Patty still kind of wonders exactly how this situation works. Well, she's not the only one. I know that. But right now, the way we're going is, with me and Patty, is if I was to make an educated guess based on what I've seen so far, there is a chance that I'm going to take her hand in marriage. Possibly. It's possible. It's possible, yeah. But at this point, I would say the chances are, at this point, are like 40-60. I mean, 44 and 60 against. Just because right now Patty doesn't feel It's like she's quite ready yet because she's got things that she has to sort through. Like her housing, for one thing. Well, we are kind of doing the show right now. It's not really like you would normally expect. But let me ask you guys now, because especially since the Discord chat is open, you guys can talk to me on Discord. Is what do you remember best about Halloween? What do you remember best about Halloween? You can either speak up on Discord or you can type it in here. It's up to you. If you type it in here, I'll read it out loud so that anybody on Discord that is listening can actually know what is being said. After all, a show in this case is designed to be a interactive activity. So I'm asking you, what is it about Halloween that you liked? Or maybe still like? I explained some of my feelings about Halloween. Let's see yours. Good question. Take a caller. Let me switch the chat over to live chat. I keep forgetting to do this first. Yeah. Jin's getting. What's this? Jin's getting dressed up, going to other people's door. Okay. Getting dressed up. Oh, here we go. Going to other people's doors without fear, knowing for candy, the random jump scare at different people's houses. Oh, okay, yeah. That's true. Back when I was younger, Halloween was safe enough that you could do that. The music, the smoke, and the smells. I think it was always the ambiance overall, the general ambiance, like you said about Skynet said about opening up the door and seeing all the people and looking into the house and the smells. I kind of remember that. Michele, I don't think it would be right due to the fact that you are already married to Lumi. Would Lumi be willing to move aside for you? Well, right now, like I said, I think the problem is more or less, at this point, it's just an academic exercise because Patty doesn't feel quite ready. I can see it in her heart. She's kind of asking the same questions I am. I think there's something about her. I think there's a lot of. She mentioned anxiety issues, so I think that maybe that's one of the reasons why. But I'm starting to see that I'm beginning to see her, in her kinder, gentler side. She was always kind and gentle, which is always a little bit critical of people. But I'm starting to see underneath her exterior why she was like that. So, but at this point, that's just conjecture about the 60-40 or 40-60 odds. So I don't know how else to read it into it. Yeah, well, right now it's like Michele said, it's clearly just conjecture at this point. Right, let's put the phone number up. Oh, I got a feeling we're gonna hear it today. We're gonna hear it for sure. You know it. Is the phone on? Yeah, the phone's on. Check. Yeah, phone's on. So, I mean, I think that the Irish Ginger Marie said she'll be mostly be watching the show in reruns. So tonight, because it's midnight in Ireland right now, so she's probably not going to be staying up super late just to watch the show. After all, some people do have to work in the morning. And Michele's got stuff coming on Friday and Thursday and possibly even Monday and Tuesday. Patty and I are hoping to go to vote together. I know that sounds like a strange idea. How is going to the voting polls actually romantic? I don't know. That's a great question. It seems to be that for me and Patty, it's something that we both really deeply want to do. So now I see some. Let me check some messages here in general chat and stuff. Nothing here exciting. I want to share something here. Dudeman posted this complaint to Discord today, and I'm going to explain this to you. And he said here, you want to talk about a horror story? Let's see, where is it right here? He said, Dudeman says, obviously, Michele Marie, you will never ban Ginge as she donates to you, but here is a warning for her. So I suggest you ban her. Immediately before she gets a taste of the tyranny she willingly ignores. I post my lovely track about willingly ignores. Okay, now, of course, so he goes ahead and he files a complaint to Discord and saying things like, I forgot to turn the microphone up, guys, sorry about that, turn the wrong knob. Then he complains to Discord, and this is a song, an avalanche of ignorance. And then the quoted message from Abuse in Discord that says, no, I don't think you understand. Despite being informed of the dire situation where my life has been threatened, if I don't move out of this town, I'm in due to my appearance sexuality. Just because I like to be feminine doesn't mean I am gay or bi. And even if I was, whatever, nothing wrong with that. But it happens to be a hate crime in the UK, and as much as I'm against arbitrarily wrongful, tyrannical laws, she actually deserves to be locked up and in prison. I therefore wish to escalate this as of course. I have blocked her, but I enjoy listening to the show and being part of the Discord on Michele Marie's channel. I am also a very inquisitive artist who can't help myself from clicking blocked message to see what kind of crap she has written. Fact remains, she has conducted the initial crime, and if she does not change her ways, I will do everything in my power to get her prosecuted as much as Count Dracula, Dankula, Marcus Meechan, 6 clearly has no cure in more than a decade. I've spent spreading the truth about issues that affect us all, and she absolutely fucks with me. Okay, now first of all, you want to talk about a real horror nightmare? I do appreciate what he said, but unfortunately I got mad at him. I ripped him a new asshole. I said, dude, why in that bloody hell are you blaming my channel? And he said, I'm not blaming your channel. I was like, well, excuse me, you need to clarify that with Discord, because now obviously I'm getting heat because of that, and I didn't even do anything to you. I said, so for this reason, Brian Case back. Yay. Okay. So the situation is just totally untenable. I cannot believe the ritual between those two. Really. You're still talking about critical unity, Jesus Christ. Well, unfortunately, he kind of makes it easy. I dare you to kiss her then. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, Skynet. I'm working on it. I want to kiss her. I think she wants to kiss me. But there's that little bit of anxiety still there. I know she hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah, but if it's a same sex relationship, who makes the first move? Ouch. I mean, she likes me too. It's not just me, and she has feelings for me too. I mean, it's kind of mutual actually. So I guess it really depends on. I just don't want to. I don't want to. This is hard because I really, like, uh, that sounds more like a Valentine's thing. Yeah, well, here's where the horror blooms in. What if I kiss her and then she slaps me and says, "Ew"? There are plenty of topics. Yeah. Actually, I was more of a fan of George Norrie, but I did listen to some Art Bell. And let's see, you make the move. Yeah, I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. She's not the only one who has anxiety issues. Just me. Well, that's the next thing I'm trying to do is get Patty to come on the show, and that's something just like everything else with her. I have to go slow, and she knows I want to get her on her show, but the problem is that right now she doesn't really understand why I do Discord and on YouTube at all. She's like, "What's the real pleasure of being on YouTube and Discord?" I'm like, "Well, it gives me I get a chance to talk to people and share my knowledge and skills with other people." And she's like, "Nah, I'm not into this internet stuff. This is too much." I'm like, "Well, it's George Norrie. It's not that bad, really." I knew another guy named Bob O'Brien that was a neighbor at Father Honan Terrace in Willimantic. They used to listen to Art Bell when he was alive. Um, I didn't really know too much of Art Bell's shows. I just knew that I would hear Bob O'Brien constantly talking about how Art Bell was talking about aliens and spaceships while he was sitting there, so occasionally drinking some hard liquor. Um, with my ex-boyfriend at the time. Yeah. Talk about something else that was a nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, more like a nightmare on Milk Street. Yeah. Do you think Art Bell is on the other side right now doing his another spiritual show? What would you call it? From the Other Side with Art Bell. That'd be an interesting title. You're listening to From the Other Side with Art Bell here on AM 1200. I'm dead now. And I'm here to tell you the other side is great. Yes, it was. Coast to Coast AM was started out with Art Bell. Then he ended up going to Midnight in the Desert, and that became an Art Bell show, like a spin-off show. Yes. Yes, that's right. Um, George Norrie was doing Art Bell's show, but then also Art Bell also created the Midnight Voice in the Desert show as well. I guess he originally decided after he left Coast to Coast AM for most daily operations to create another show that was the Midnight Voice in the Desert. I don't really know any horror stories. Do you know any horror stories? No. I wish I could come up with a horror story. I'm not good at them. Oh, 750 something. 757. That's a horror story. What is that? Lapse of time. 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 Oh, yeah, that's a good story right there. Do you ever sometimes think that maybe when you go to sleep, you wonder what your body does when you're sleeping? Ever sometimes wonder if you're doing things autonomously? Your body is just doing, you think it's asleep, and then your neighbors actually say they see you walking around. My mom told me a story about when this one time. She said, I saw you go downstairs into the dining room and you were speaking perfect German. And you were actually checking the door, make sure it was locked in the dining room, and then you went back upstairs again. And she said you were speaking perfect German. She said it's funny because I had learned German in school and I couldn't even understand half the words you were saying. I didn't even have any recollection of that I was doing anything. I just thought I was asleep. So whatever happens to your body when your soul goes home for a little visit to the other side? Does your body go into automatic mode and just does things on its own? I don't know. Think about it. What would happen if for some reason, I get my first phone call for tonight. Go ahead, caller. How you doing?
Hello.
Yeah.
Going on?
How you doing?
Am I? How are you?
All right.
Alright, cool. So what's going on?
Not much. What's your first name?
You have, some issues going on in your personal life?
What's that?
What?
Is this Dan? No, it's not Dan. Okay. So anyway, what have you been up to?
I'm just listening to your boring ass chat, really.
Yeah.
No offense, but...
And what do you think about what you're hearing?
What do I think about what I'm hearing?
Do you like the show? Do you like what you're listening to?
No, I like it when you have a legitimate subject and people are calling in and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Do you got a horror story for the audience, caller?
Do I have a horror story?
Yeah, something that would be appropriate for Halloween.
Hey, once upon a time, there was this show that really sucked when it didn't have a subject to go through with. And all of a sudden, that show got cursed. And everything to do with that show was lame as fuck.
Okay. Let's see if I can come up with one. This building I live in was built in 1865, pretty much at the time of the Civil War. And it's right next door to a graveyard. They say that especially during Halloween that the veils are thin and the ghosts are walking around, watching, looking, checking it out. One day, my maintenance guy told me a story that he saw a ghost come out of his closet. Because there used to be a door that used to go into the other apartments. And he was originally a resident of this apartment. And he sat there and he watched them and maintenance guy, and he was puzzled because he's like, he never saw anybody watching a TV set before. And so the maintenance guy said the ghost was just what you would expect from somebody from the turn of the 19th century into the 20th. He was a common worker, apparently. Worked in the mills across the river. He mentioned to Mike, the homeless guy, or the maintenance guy, he mentioned in a voice that says, "I live here. You're in my apartment." Now, Mike, the maintenance guy, not Mike, the homeless guy, he was like, "You mind me being here?" The ghost said, "Nah, not really. Just don't make a mess in my apartment." True story.
Wow, that was better than my story.
Yeah, well, because true story, horror stories ain't my thing. It ain't much of a horror story anyway. No. But, so what'd you say your first name was again?
What?
What's your first name?
My first name?
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
It's what?
What?
Well, anyway. I don't have the greatest hearing in the world. Oh, that's a curse. That hearing sucks. My hearing sucks. Big time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Honestly, I don't know where, I'll be honest with you. My idea what I do for Halloween is not exactly what we're doing right now. No, it's usually a time when Michele just usually thinks about the loved ones and stuff that passed away. She's not really into the festival part of it.
Alright, well,
Tell
I'm gonna go now, alright?
I'm not telling Satan again. No. I am not channeling Satan again. No way.
No way, what?
A couple days ago on Grinch Report last Saturday, I channeled Satan, and I don't want to channel Satan. I don't want to channel Satan again. You. Well.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Oh, I thank you for listening into the show. I hope you're watching. Are you watching the show, or are you just listening to the phone? Me to the phone.
No, I just randomly called you, basically.
Yeah, well, this isn't really like that great of a show, but I'm trying. I'm just not a Halloween person. Yeah, you need some theme. You need some noises and stuff.
You're not a Halloween person?
Woo! Ghost sounds. Rattling chains in the attic.
But you're a vampire?
What's that?
Are you a vampire?
No, not exactly a vampire. I am a North American snow queen. I'm a weather sorceress.
Oh, from Narnia. I get it. It all makes sense with the closet scene and everything, like going into another world.
For example,
Yeah.
and my season starts from Yule and ends in Ostara of every year, and that's when I basically am at my top of my game. But right now, this is kind of like coasting to, or actually part of getting into the feeling of autumn, and that's when I'm starting to get more excited. But autumn isn't really my season. It's just, but there is things about autumn Michele likes. Oh yes, Thanksgiving is one of them. Thanksgiving, guys. This actually, you could say this is a Thanksgiving holiday in its own right.
What do you like on Thanksgiving?
I like the fact I get a chance to talk to my relatives and the food.
Yeah, the first point was pretty good. What kind of food do you like?
Oh my! Lately, until recently, me and my mother haven't been talking in years, and then finally she kind of came out of the shell and she started talking a bit, and then I was wondering if I'm gonna be going home for Thanksgiving. Nobody even gave me an invitation. Patty invited me originally when she was going to stay with Daryl to have Thanksgiving at his house. But then again, now she's getting into her own apartment. I wonder if we're going to be having Thanksgiving in her apartment. But I know the Soup Kitchen is having Thanksgiving on the 20th.
So you like the Soup Kitchen for Thanksgiving?
What's that?
That's what you like to eat?
Yeah, I like to eat. Especially I like turkey. I enjoy turkey meat. I enjoy stuffing. I enjoy mashed potatoes. I enjoy fresh carrots. I enjoy fresh green bean casserole, green beans, apple cider. Apple cider. Michele's not into pumpkin pie though. No, I'm not. But I will have apple pie.
Yeah, the turkey thing is kind of played out.
Crunchy Port, there's nothing wrong with the
it's
sound.
It's all about, like, smoked whole pig on the smoker and shit nowadays. Especially, like, Christmas Eve and stuff. Like, turkey is, like, lame as fuck.
But, you know, the thing is that, like I said, I mean, because in some ways, Halloween for pagans isn't exactly as exciting as it is for non-pagans, I think. Because it's a harvest festival. That was originally what it was. It was a harvest festival.
Correct. I love this conversation we're having. That is just
Country Report, you keep telling me about the same problem with the sound, and no one else is having a problem with the sound.
Right.
I think what you need to do is check your connections of your speakers because there's nothing wrong with the sound.
Yeah, like you keep cutting in and out. Like something wrong with your audio or something.
You think I'm cutting in and out?
Yeah, you're coming in and out like hardcore. Like
I'm talking at the same microphone level as I was before. I'm getting good VU all the way across the board. And there's nothing actually wrong with my sound.
But you cut in, like, you keep breaking up. Like, that's why this call is so, like, awkward because, like, I'm only hearing, like, half of what you say. There's, like, no audio, like, about 60-40% of the time and stuff.
I will tell you what happened a couple days ago with the sound, which was I did unplug the microphone from my waist, and that was a mistake. But then I was using the regular microphone, which I'm talking in now. So normally I have the tie clip microphone on.
You might need some new wires and some new like actual house outlets and stuff.
There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with the cables. I just checked them because the sound that I hear through the headphones from me is the same sound.
It might be your outlets or something.
I was just trying to explain was the sound that you hear is the same sound I get from the computer, so I know this sound goes out fine. And I played
But how do you know if the sound is going through your outlets or not? That's the big question. You know what I mean?
There's another way I can see the sound.
There's no sound coming out of your outlets when your ear is pressed against the wall as you're plugging in the plug into the outlet.
Well, what's this?
There's no telling. As you're plugging in the plug into the outlet.
What's this? This is from the actual show that we're listening to right now that we're on. This is from the actual show that we're listening to right now. So that's the show right there. So the question is the sound that's coming into YouTube?
What?
I don't know what's so funny. I'm not ignoring the audio issues. In fact, if anything, I just proved to you that the sound is working just fine. Caller, what is so funny? Because until Country Court came on, nobody said anything was wrong with the sound. Exactly.
There's obviously something wrong with the sound. Like, I heard that part, but I didn't hear the part.
You know why they're doing that? You want to know why they're doing that? It's because they're bored. That's the truth.
What?
They're bored, and nothing else to do with their time.
Can you repeat that?
I said
all I heard was all
that special effect I did.
After that.
The people are doing what they're doing because they're bored. They have nothing else to do right now. Okay? And then I just did.
Bored.
Yeah. So, like I said jokingly, I said they're bored. Yeah, it was deliberately. I just did that effect with just using my tongue.
Hey, you keep breaking in and out, like, on this call. It's so weird. So, I don't know what your problem is, but on my end, I'm good.
And you know what else is important to realize, guys, is that we also have the sound on Discord, too, you know. You can always listen to the show on Discord. There's nothing wrong with the sound, guys. No. But I will tell you what. We will be
Am I still on this famous show or what? Like, what? I can't hear nothing.
Now you're playing that game.
Hello.
No, the caller's playing that game. Oh, great. Yeah, but the sound's modulating just fine. I know it's modulating fine, but they're playing games with me again.
What games are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just go ahead and get ready to wrap this up.
Okay, you're getting, like, I can't hear you, so I'm gonna hang up.
Okay. Obviously, tonight was pretty much a nothing burger for the most part. There's not much you can do when that happens. It's just the way it is. Yeah. So anyway, we got the new computer. Will be here on Friday. All 56 pounds of it. We'll try to get that set up and working. I've watched the replays of these shows, and there's nothing wrong with the sound on the replays. And I listen to them all, and they play fine on both Discord and YouTube and Twitch. So, and even Cringe Report said he used to joke around about the sound because he used to think it was funny. Well, now you're getting a little forward to joke. But I will not dismiss one thing that is a valid point. You see this camera shot? You see how it's smearing like this? That's because Cam Twist, or actually Discord, through FMLE, is not giving a good frame rate. And it's not giving a good frame rate because this computer only has a 2-core processor. Now, could I upgrade this 2-core processor to an Intel Core 2 Quad? Maybe. I don't know how my Mac would feel about that, but only 2.5 gigabytes of RAM, would it really be worth it? Now, when we get the new computer set up and working, which I'm going to try to get ready for Sunday night show, and we're going to be using the new computer to do the same show, set up with the same software as we are here. Maybe initially what we'll do is we'll just install a copy of Snow Leopard and another partition on that computer and just transfer everything over instead of actually installing everything into High Sierra to start with. And that should make a difference in the speed because there's problems with about 64 versus 32-bit support. I don't know if my hardware is going to work in High Sierra yet. So I have to test all that out. But for now, since there really isn't much more to discuss, Halloween, as I said, is just not really my holiday. It really isn't. I try, but, I have a hard time with it. But for the now time, I want to thank you all for joining the show. And stay safe out there, especially with the kids. And for those who have kids, please check their candy to make sure that it's not tainted, okay? There really are some assholes out there that would deliberately put things in kids' candies. Make sure it's good. Make sure it's safe. Keep your kids safe when you're escorting them out on trick-or-treating today. Sometimes cars don't seem to be paying attention to the little ghosts and goblins that are crossing the roads. You want to have Halloween be fun, not be a tragedy or a real horror story. So, talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.